Hello. So this video is going to be about how to set up environment variables properly in Node.js. So the main problem with environment variables in Node.js is like sometimes the envs don't get detected. And the other day I was trying to deploy the Node.js, basically an express application to render.com. It's a popular platform. So one is render.com and the other is railways, right, .com or something like that. So on render.com I was getting an error that the port wasn't getting detected. Basically what was happening is they were running out of port somehow, and it was a weird error. So I was a bit skeptical that what was happening, and then I asked the AI and googled a bit, and found out that the it was referencing an env variable, like an environment file, basically a env file, and then it was not getting it, and there was basically a different class of errors altogether. So I'll try to tackle all of that and tell you that how to set up environment variables so properly that you literally have the absolute path of the env files. So our first focus will be to get the .env file path in import setup. Basically, by import setup, what do I mean? Like there are two kinds of syntax in JavaScript. The first one is ES6, which is the modern JavaScript syntax, right? This one is the modern JS syntax, and then the second one is require syntax. Basically, it used to exist before, so it was like before 2015, from what I remember, 2015 or something like that, right? So now it's not used very much, not used frequently, because I mean some libraries could still use it, but it's again it's not that much used now because this modern JS syntax is easy to use now. It's verbose as well, so you can understand what is written and all of that. So basically we will tackle this problem in ES6, and why does this problem not happen in require syntax, we'll also look into that, because this was also something new to me, which I found out yesterday only, like while when I was getting the problem on render, right? So let's start with the video. So firstly, what I'll do is I'll just initialize a new Node.js project. So suppose env node. We'll go to env node, and for like I'll keep things simple for now and code in JavaScript only. I'll make either I'll just if like I'll add a TypeScript segment to this video, or I'll make another video for TypeScript. Like there is nothing new to that, but I have some tsconfig.json setup, which is like basically a better default version to use. So yeah, that way only. So right now we'll code in JS only. So yeah, so we'll initialize the package.json, and then we'll make an index.js file, a dot get ignore if you'd like, uh, and an env file, and I think that's all. We can also make a like src folder as well, just for testing purposes, so we can do that. Make dir mkdir src mv index.js dot get ignore. There's a smaller like sort of syntax for moving all the files to a normal folder. I don't know if it will work. Let's just open the VS Code first. There will be easier to do that. So what we'll do is I'll just move everything to src, right? And our entry will be src slash index.js. And mind you, we are not going. So yeah, this require is known as common JS syntax. Basically, I forgot to write the name. So it is called common JS, right? And here we use import statements, import slash export. So we will be looking into the ES6 syntax mostly. So this is a slash index.js. We'll change it to module, and yeah, it's good to go, I guess. So let's just initialize get init, and add the. So we'll keep the .env in the root folder only, and to the dot get ignore, we'll say we don't want any node modules to be pushed to git, neither a dot env or dot env dot star, and I guess we are good to go. So yeah, it should actually wait. It should detect that dot env is not okay. Why is it taking? Dot get ignore should also be okay. Yeah. Now dot get ignore should also be the root only, because that's how it will detect now. Or we could have written src slash something like that, but yeah, it's pointless. Dot get ignore is always in the root only, so we can use git add now, git add, git commit dash on init, and then we can just simply say npm install. Well, we don't really need any mm, what say any package, but just for some testing we can use express only, npm express. Yeah, so now we have express, I guess. Yeah, we have express now. So let's write some code. So in the index.js, if we go and write import express from express, right? We will also need that .env package. Npm .env. Yeah. So it's just a boilerplate code and nothing else. So if we said app dot sorry const app equals express, and then we can say app dot listen to some port maybe, and then we can say we'll add this port variable later. Just wait for a minute, and then we will say clg server is running at level right, and we can define this port to be process.n.port, or if the port is not available then it will be 3000, and we can say parse int and give it the base of 10, right? So basically what will it do is if the in the environment variables, if the port variable is available, then it will take this, and this is a nullish operator. We can also use or, but like semantically this is much better than using or. So basically if this is not available, then this will be used as a fallback value, and we will parse it. Basically we will take 3000 as our port, we can make it 8080, and then it will parse the integer, and this is the basically the base only, like the radix so it's a decimal number, right? So the radix is 10. Yeah, now the next thing which we are going to do is just write a simple route app.get slash comma sync ref comma res, and then we can just simply say return res.json message hello world dot status, wait, sorry, dot status 200, right? So we can just test it out. Wait, let me add some semicolons here. Yeah, so I think this is good to go. Node src slash index.js, and it's good to go, right? Yeah, so the app is working. So the next thing which we are going to do is we are going to configure this .env file. Now bear with me. So see, there are two basically what I'll say constants which are available in the common JS syntax, which is called underscore underscore their name or their name, whatever you know call it, and the second one is underscore underscore file name, right? These both are available. So these are basically used to give you the exact what do you say, the absolute path of the .env file, so that there is no, like no ambiguity in the file path itself, right? So that's what we are now in the import syntax. It's not available, so we'll have to create these. So how we'll create them is we'll say import dir name, it's a function, comma resolve. From where? From path. So path is a Node.js module, right? How did I get to know this? Via docs and chat GPTs. It's nothing new. I was just, obviously I got the error, then I got to know, so I was like, why not make a video so that other people can, if they have this issue, they can easily navigate through it. And then the second thing which we'll do is import file URL to path from URL. So URL and path, those are Node.js modules. Now what we'll do is you can export it or not, it's up to you, but I just export it. Export underscore file name is equal to file URL to path import dot meta dot URL. So if you'll print this import dot meta dot URL, if you are curious enough to print it, console.log import dot meta dot URL, you will get to know that this is the basically this literally is the file path of index.js. Yeah. If you would have called this in another file, it would have been the file path of that file, right? Now second thing is we want the underscore dir name. So what we'll do is we'll say give me the directory name of what? Of this particular file. So obviously if this is the file name, suppose the file name is in my D drive, I'm on Windows, so it will be using backslash instead of forward slash like git bash, although I use git bash on my Windows because obviously that's everywhere, right? On Mac OS, Linux and everywhere. So yeah, the exact path would be something like it will be, I think, what's the name of the folder? env node, and then it would be src, right? So wait, copy. So what this will print is this console log will print this. I'll run it also. This will print this, right? And I said that I just want the directory name of this particular file. So I'll get till here. So this is the output of this variable underscore dir name. Now what we'll do is we will resolve the path. So basically, see, where's the .src .env file? It is just outside the src folder, right? So what we'll do is we'll say import .env from .env, right? From .env, and then we'll say .env.config, and we'll pass the path of our env file. So you could have also done this, right? But sometimes it gives you errors like the path is not resolved properly, or it needs the absolute path sometimes. So what we'll do is we'll wrap it in the resolve and give it the base path, which is basically our underscore dir name, and then this. So what this alone will do is, you can also print it as well if you are curious to know what this does, is it will resolve these paths. So this is the src folder, like the dir name constant is equal to, you can also print it, g underscore dir name. We'll print both, why not print all of it, right? Sorry, this, and then you can also print this file name, and then this is the import .url, so we can print this as well, why not, right? So yeah, we are printing all of these. So basically this is the directory name where this index.js file is, right? So we are telling resolve, this is basically a function which resolves two paths given these two inputs. So this will tell resolve that this is your base folder basically. This double dot, what does double dot mean? So basically what happens, this is the relative path syntax. If you don't know, this is what relative paths are. So yeah, anyways. So suppose if you are in a folder, say this one only, so the operating system basically denotes this via a dot. So this dot means the current folder. This means current folder, right? And double dot means the folder previous to this one. Folder previous to the current folder. Current folder. So it would be in this case env underscore node, right. So this tells this resolve like the this double dot tells the resolve function he our env file is located where just one folder pre like before this src folder, right. So it will go here to the .env, and then it will just simply attach that .env to the path. So this resolve will eventually lead to this d/env node .env. This is going to be its path. So why not just write, and we'll just write some variable here as well, like suppose name is equal to, you can say Rajneesh Mishra, right. Rajneesh, you can just simply say, or maybe address is equal to address, or right, stop address, we can say age is equal to 22. You can just do this, right. And we can just, what can we can simply do is we can just simply uh, console log the process.env.name and then clg process.env dot age, right. So we'll get these environment variables as well. Why not run this file? So we'll run this file. So you can clearly see the file name is, as I told you, basically this is a file path. So file path denv node slash sorry slash index.js. So denv node sorry slash index.js. File name is basically literally the file name. Matlab, see, it has this I think this file URL is, it doesn't have the file URL, it just contains the name. And this is a directory name where the file is located, basically the index.js where we are calling this. And then this is uh, the resolve path basically. So as I told you, this will be denv node.env, and it is now like properly getting the environment variable. So there is no scope of ambiguity or error now after this basically setup, right. Now one more thing I want to draw your attention to is ki, see, this is working because we have a .env file in our system, right. But when you deploy to systems like render or something, the way they inject or they could inject the variables is not via .env file. They'll inject it most probably via CLI. So let me teach you how will you inject a variable via CLI. So suppose there's some, like suppose surname, and it is we'll not inject it here. We'll say this. We'll say process dot sorry clg process dot env dot surname, right. And suppose we just give it some tag as well to know what is getting printed. So suppose we say surname, and then we say age. Here we can say resolve path, resolve path. So the way you can like and obviously this is the like bash way. For PowerShell there's some I think they use the set what's it, I don't know, keyword or something like that for their CLI to inject the variables in the environment. So basically what environment variable literally is, you just literally put into the CLI and then run your command. So if I say surname is equal to Mishra, you can keep it small or large, whatever, like the value doesn't matter, right. It doesn't really matter. And then you just say node index dot src slash index dot js. See, the surname is Mishra now. So basically, this is literally the environment variable. When the people say what is environment variable, this is literally, this is the environment, this is the variable. So this is the environment variable literally, that you just shove a variable into the CLI and somehow your application picks it up from the environment itself, right? These are the variables in the environment when the application is running in a CLI. Now the thing is that see, so like render.com or railway.com or any other platform which basically hosts your express app, they ask for env keys, right. So they could be injecting it like this only, direct via CLI. So there would be no .env file there. So just to be safe, there's a node env variable as well. If it is not defined there, then you can define it yourself. Like go into their env keys and define that node env is in production. That way, what will happen is, so what we'll do is we'll say if process dot env dot node underscore env is not equal to production, you can define it yourself as well, wherever you deploy it, है ना? So yeah, so we can say if if we are not using production, then we are using a env file, and if we are using production, that is it is deployed on a machine like render, like on render.com or something, then they are not using a .env file, and then in that case they will inject the variable the way I injected, right? And so, yeah, and since they will do that, this thing won't cause an error. See, like, wait, oh my god, oh yeah, the path was wrong. Yeah, so where was I? So yeah, I was saying ki, on that platform the variable would be injected like this. So our .env.config would try to find like would uh, try to find a file named .env, and it will not find it there. Why? Because there is no .env file there, and hence all the variables you are using like this, right? Process.env.name and age, which are in the .env file actually, will not be detected properly. You could be having a like a env variable called port, like the way we have here. Where did it go? Yeah, here. See, so that would also cause some problem. By the way, it is always recommended to put the .env at the very top. So it should be actually not here but here, so that your env is detected right there and then. And this if condition is just simply making sure that whenever we are in production, we are not getting it via, we have a .env file no system. Okay. We'll also have to put all of this above, right? Yeah, now it will work. These console logs are pointless now, so we can just remove it, remove this, remove this, and then remove this as well, right? Yeah, I think this will work properly. So yeah, that's what I was saying key. So yeah, in that case, when we will be deploying to render.com or something like that, then it won't cause an issue. We will be getting everything properly. And if we are on local machine, then it will detect all the variables from your config or from your CLI if you want to inject many variables. You can also inject multiple variables in the CLI like this. If you are curious about it, how can we inject multiple variables? So like some integer it could be maybe, and then you can simply say process dot env dot some integer or something like that, right? A comma here, and then you can simply say control J some underscore integer equals 10, and then surname equals Mishra, and then you can simply say node src slash index.js. By the way, again, this is the bash way. So in bash, you put all the environment variables separated by a space and then write the actual command. In PowerShell, you can chat GPT it. It was like I also chat GPT it. I don't use PowerShell, by the way, I use bash only. So there you'll have to put something like this. So you'll have to write something like this, set space and then again set space, I guess, obviously separated by spaces, and then it is like and something like that. To run the actual command, you have to put and I guess. Anyways, so this is the way, and now it should detect. See, some integer is 10, and age, surname, age is everything is here only. So this was basically how you would detect the environment variables properly in a Node.js app. I hope it was clear. If there are any doubts, you can ask me in the comments. I'll put this code in the description itself. It's not a very big code. There was just a single file. I hope you liked the video. Anyways, peace out.